Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. I'm Hiral Dadia. Overall, if you see in terms of markets, it is a volatile day of trade. But we are seeing some smart gains from the day's lowest levels in today's session in the last hour. Joining us in terms of what's in store from here on and what levels we should be tracking from next week's perspective, we have Brijesh Ali, retail research at IDBI Cap, joining in. Brijesh, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Brijesh, overall, if you see in terms of Nifty as well, yesterday's trade, a marginal gain of 13 points that did come in. Today, we've seen a good uptick that has been seen. Overall, what's the sense that you pick up?
Hi. So the point is to see we have seen a decent correction over the last five trading sessions, and the
Hmm.
market has already tested 16,800 over the during this week. So we are due for a trading bounce, and we are looking for some amount of bounce to 17,200, 17,300. So gradually, this entire bounce is due because if we just take it from the all-time high level, we are corrected close to 10%. I mean, and very much for the last 5 days, we are down by 5%. So this is a deep correction basically lineups for the since we are in a breakdown kind of scenario market. But definitely, we are playing for a trading bounce, and that level should be somewhere to 17,200, 17,300. So that should be the immediate level. We need to again take a fresh view what how scenario things change at those levels. But if you ask me right now, maybe for Monday, Tuesday, the things quite positive for the market. Should be 17,300, 17,400. That should be the highest impact.
Right. So that's with regards to where Nifty goes. Now, coming to Bank Nifty as well, if you see overall, in terms of yesterday's session, if you talk from a weekly expiry perspective as well, there was an increase in open interest with a decrease in price as well. So clearly indicating that there has been a short build up in terms of Bank Nifty from a weekly expiry perspective. Today, what is the data indicating according to you?
So Chris, there is a slight change in data. So again, there is a little bit of long position which I can see being maybe there is a initially in the morning there was a kind of long unpointing, but right now what data says that it's a kind of long delta. So basically, even but if you compare the Nifty and Bank Nifty remains quite more aggressive as compared to the Nifty. And Bank Nifty, as someone I feel the 40,000 should be the bounce back rate for the Nifty for the Bank Nifty. So the data indicates a positive trend for the bank Nifty also.
Right. So, Brajesh, overall, we did hit a low of around 38,926 in today's session in terms of Bank Nifty. We are above again that 39,250 mark already. So, from here on, what's that kind of resistance and support levels we should be watching out for? Because clearly the call side open interest concentration was somewhere in the 39,500 range, which was then followed by 40 and 39,800. Whereas if you see on the put side, we were seeing a lot of open interest concentration on 39,000, which was then followed by 38,800. So would it be fair to assume that still we are seeing a very broad, trading range from a 38,500 to a 39,500 probably?
Yeah, saying that would not be wrong because basically what I can look at the charts and even at the derivative data, it clearly says that yesterday's low, which was 38,600, maybe 613, will make it around out to 38,600. So that remains the immediate base for the bank Nifty. And
Hmm.
the correction which we saw in the bank Nifty is very less as compared to the Nifty. So the reason why because we are talking about the 200 moving average. The way the Nifty broke 200 moving average and the way the bank Nifty has broken the very both are very different kind of scenarios. And today, even in this bounce back trend, the bank Nifty is already at the verge of crossing 200 moving average, which is a positive side. So maybe in the morning I was not very sure whether this level will be taken out or not. But then right now looking at the chart, that quite evident that we will be closing about the 200 average, which is at 39,632. So with that defines the way. See again for the bank Nifty, there was a gap on last Friday. There's a gap down opening on the last Friday, and that gap was somewhere close to 40,839. So I'm pretty confident that bank Nifty should be heading for 40,000, 40,500 level. Again, the same thing. We are in a downtrend. We are playing for a pullback. So, but that pullback is quite a bit. So 40,500, 40,800 should be the level what you should be watching for the bank.
Hmm. Right. So overall, from a strategy perspective, what would you recommend for, for week 23rd of March 2023, kind of an expiry, in terms of Bank Nifty now?
Uh, uh, being uh, being a weekend, I would not maybe, but very clearly on a Monday morning, I would be like to getting a 40,000 call option on a very simple strategy because I do believe that 40 during the week 40,500 will be very easily taken out. So maybe in the Monday morning for just to avoid the 2 days time frame for the Saturday Sunday, I would be taking a buy call on Monday morning for the 40,000 call strike price. So whatever the strike may be, because I will be encashing of the time value. So I'm pretty confident 40,500 would be the current weekly expiry, which will be heading for the next week. So that should be the strategy for the Monday's trade. And
Right.
somebody who's taking willing to take a risk can also take a position at current level also. But then the clarity of premium being eroded, I am not very confident. So it's advisable to take. So somebody takes in the morning, Monday morning, it's very advisable.
Right. Any put spread strategy that can be advised, taking the current markets into consideration?
So not very clearly. On a safer side, if somebody is looking at 38,500 put option, that too, it's not very clear. The data doesn't suggest me that that should be done at current rate. But having said this, somebody who is want to take that call, I think can take also 38,500. So basically, bad food spread can also be done. But
Mm.
the data is very clearly saying that there will be some amount of bounce will be there. So one should go with the trend.
Right. That's with regards to Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. Now, moving on, if you see in terms of overall stock-specific action as well, uh, IT has been pretty strong in today's session. What is the derivative data and charts indicating specifically with regards to, say, the likes of an HCL Tech or an Infosys?
Okay, I'll just go. HCL Tech, if you talk specifically for the day, there is been a long build-up in HCL because there is a rising price and a rising OI also. So there is a clearly long build-up which is in today's session. But if you just figure out for the last five trading session, there has been a short build-up. So within the short build-up, there are a few positions I can see there's a little bit of position unwinding can be seen in the current scenario. But net, there can be some small bounce close to 1140 is what I can see. 1120 to 1130, 1140 will be
Hmm.
too aggressive. But 1120 to 1130 can be the bounce for the HCL Tech is what I believe.
Right. Apart from that, Brajesh, Nalco and Tata Steel stocks are up. Strong open interest addition is what we're seeing in today's session in double digits. Clearly, long positions being built up. What's it indicating?
Uh, Actually, there has been a distribution in the NANCO. So I won't be very confident whether, because I need to be checking on the EOD data whether what kind of
Hmm,
positions has been built up.
hmm,
But then NANCO specifically, I do, but to very specific, I'm liking metals, but within the metals, NANCO is something I think there is some kind of distribution has been seen in the closing trade. So a little bit of a cautious note. But then, having said this, Tata Steel is very strong positive. I think Tata Steel should be heading on the higher side. It's basically the counter is trading near the 200-day moving average, which is taking
hmm.
support. The other technical parameter, for example, the volumes are coming in RSI, which we do look for the trading kind of setup, which is it is suggesting me that there will be about 110, 150 would be the trading bonds for the Tata Steel. So the bias for the Tata Steel is very quite strong.
Right. How is AB Capital looking?
Uh, I believe this is an uptrend stock. The weekly and the monthly time frame is quite positive, and even the daily chart, I think it has met with the support at 146, and it's at the verge of breakout. So the trigger is 158, 160. So maybe in near term, whenever this 150, 158, 160 is taken out, I think 15-20% kind of return can be seen Aditya Birla. So AB Capital is quite positive on chart. So for example, if the market moves one way or the the trading bonds which I'm talking of, and if that continues, then this Aditya Birla Capital can one star which can outperform during this on the upside.
Right. Apart from that, how about a DLF? Because that's also seeing some strong moves. Do you think there's a buying opportunity there?
Yes, yes, very, very, very strongly because the way the DLF has given a breakout today, I think there is a multiple reasons which I do believe DLF will be
Hmm.
outperforming. Even somebody is willing to take a 400 call option, maybe it's not for the current expiry, for the next expiry, somebody who's like willing to take that kind of position in the market, specifically for the DLF. I think that kind of positions are seen. There is a good amount of build-ups are seen in the 400 strike price for the next expiry also. So I think that's a positional bet. Somebody, both the traders, positional as well day traders can both bet for the DLF at the current price. Traders can do the future option trades, and somebody who's willing to take the positional trade can play for 410, 420 on the highest.
Right. Apart from that, suddenly I'm seeing a Biocon which has nosedived almost 9.5% currently. What are charts indicating, Brajesh?
It's quite very negative, 147. The near term monthly charts are quite, it's very negative, 11% already down in the current month. So, and it is, if I see at the 211 was the previous swing, which it looks like it is at the verge of, it is broken. It's going to give a close below that. So, there can be a bouncy, but if I look at the chart, there is a 1 week correction for the last 30, 35 days. And there is this correction has been followed by the volumes. So definitely there is something wrong with the counter. Maybe further damage is there. 200 level looks like to be broken in the coming session. Maybe after 200, 180, 160 is what can be the
Hmm.
directional trade. So definitely it looks very weak on chart. So I would be happy if I can see the 230, 235 on the higher side. If I see that, then I will be looking at opportunity to exit my trade and just stay out of the counter.
Right. Apart from that, ITC, there is some bit of pressure on that counter. A good open interest addition being seen. Last couple of sessions, we've always seen an ITC hit lifetime high levels. Do you think now there are short positions built from here on, and there could be some pressure, or is there an uptrend from here on still intact?
It's a mixed kind of view because basically, if you ask me for 2 to 3 days, I do have a view for
Hmm.
365 kind of view. But then for me, directionally, 360, 365 to 360 is a very long term bet where I should be entering my long positions. So somebody who actually in the morning when the market was weak, I was actually looking at ITC and was thinking of taking a put option for the current expiry. But then it doesn't look very promising at level. Volumes are there. There has been selling volumes which I can see. So I believe this can be right now the 377. So somebody who want to play for the quick small move can take the short view on the IT 375 put option and specifically for the 3 4 kind of days. But I would be very positive whenever it comes to 365, 360, 360. I don't feel it would be coming. 10 points play can be seen in the ITC. Little bit of negative buzz. Short positions are seen in the ITC at current price. So, but it just being a defensive, it would be very uh, like for example, that is what exactly it's a mixed view. For example, derivative, there's a small kind of short position for the only 10 points kind of a move, and but that's a
Hmm.
very promising entry for the long term position. So if you ask me for the from the derivatives 2 3 days, I would play for a 375 put option at the current price.
Right. And very lastly, what's your view on a Motherson Sumi? Because that's been an interesting counter as well from a F&O perspective last couple of sessions.
Okay, Motherson Sumi, to be very frank, it charts are looking negative. There has been a during the current week there was a gap down. The week it is already down by 18%. Uh, maybe the previous low, which was somewhere close to 61, there is a possible trade that we may see those level on the downside. So I would avoid this counter. There is no clear trade setup or no chart pattern which says that there can be some buying or some. Right now, it's a very clear negative trend. I won't be surprised if I see that 61, 62 levels on the downside. So bias is negative for the counter.
Right. Overall, apart from these names, Brijesh, anything else that catches your radar?
We are quite positive on SBI. So we do like SBI at every correction because SBI is from the medium to short term. I think SBI should be heading for 580 to 590 levels in the upside. So any opportunity whenever we see the correction in the market, SBI is one thing which we recommend to our clients. So SBI is one of the strongest. But after that, if you ask me for the 10 15 days, there are the pharma stocks. If you see the pharma has been one way correcting for the last couple of days, couple of weeks more. Yeah. So within that, Sun Pharma and the Cipla, the two bets which somebody who want to play for 5% kind of return can play with that.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of markets as a whole, if you have to take a medium to short-term perspective, what are charts indicate? A medium to long-term perspective, what are charts indicating? I mean, the kind of pullbacks that we are seeing right now, do you think these are the ones which will be short-lived, Brijesh? But there is further selling pressure as to what the data is indicating?
Yes, I do have a slight negative view on the overall market because I believe this India VIX, which is right now today, is going to be correct to 14.62. By any chance, if the India will starts trading above 17 on the higher side, then there will be a very sharp correction, with further correction in the market. 16,500 is something which I think it is due on the charts. So until unless I don't see 16,500, maybe 100 point plus and minus till those levels, I think the long term view or the long term one way buying fresh buying will not be seen in the market. To correlate this, if you check the FI data for the index fusion, they are continuously on the short side. So as of yesterday, they were like one lakh 60,000 contracts short. And if you see the COVID figure, so during the COVID, they were close to 1,73,000 contracts short. So they are at the lowest point. So even the FI from the index point of view, they are maintaining a short position. So this figures a long short ratio is at currently at 11 point something. So but then that has to recover about 30 35 to get some kind of strength from the FI point of view. So which is
Hmm.
missing at current level. So I think near term. So right now, if 17,100 is what cash levels, maybe 100 200 points can be possible for the next week. But then in the near term, maybe once the expiry is done, there is a possibility we may again see the low being broken. So reasonably 16,500 is what I sense should be there on the charts.
Right. So, a lot of volatility that can be expected in coming days as well. Thank you, Brijesh, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views. So, overall, if you see Nifty, we've ended above that 17,100 mark. Sensex up around 450 points, but mainly the backing has come in from IT, metals, as well as the real estate space in today's session. Overall, if you see, we've seen a gain of almost 1.1 to 2% coming in there. In terms of Nifty 50 as well, 17,100, 0.7% higher. We hit a low of 16,958 in intraday session. And in terms of Bank Nifty as well, 39,598. We are just there in terms of 39,600, which has been the previous month low as well. Today's session, we did go below that 39,000 mark. We hit a low of 38,926 in intraday session, but then did see bounce back that did come in, and we've ended with gains of almost around 465 points in terms of Bank Nifty. Overall, if you see in terms of stock specific action, in fact, clearly, HCL, Hindalco, Ultratech Cement, UPL, JSW Steel, top gainers in terms of Nifty 50, whereas Eicher Motors, NTPC, Maruti, ITC, as well as Power Grid, these were a few of the top losers in trade today. Coming on to in terms of broader markets as well, yesterday's session, the breadth in terms of broader markets was pretty much negative. The breadth in terms of the benchmark indices is where there was strength. Counters like Mirza International on the back was up in today's session. You had Jubilant Pharma was up in trade, JK Paper, another counter which did see smart gains. Biocon has been an interesting one because in the last 5 to 10 minutes of trade, we did see a sudden downtake of almost around 8 to 9% that came in with regards to where Biocon goes, and it's ended with cuts of around 6.5%. Swan Energy, another one, 5 to 6% kind of a downside is what we've seen. Overall, if you go to see clearly, a lot of stock specific action is what we've been witnessing. Yes, there are, pullback rallies that we are seeing in the markets as well, but seems that they are pretty short lived. and there is expected to be further pain as well as what analysts are indicating from a medium term perspective. So it's best to be cautious and overall take your bets, in a very structured manner. But that's all that we have in this session. Have a great weekend.